Hopefully it's working.
Great.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Sharon Rollins, the Youth Services Specialist at the New Jersey State Library, and I'm the statewide project coordinator for the Summer Reading Program. And I would love to introduce you all to Ellen Myrick. She is the president of Publisher Spotlight. She has that great graphic in the middle of your screen. She is the founder of Myrick Marketing and Media. And some of the most exciting and wonderful independent and international books that you may have in your libraries are ones that she promotes, including books like publishers like Barefoot Books and Child's Play and Cicada Books and Florist Books and many, many, many others. And I think she's as we speak, more publishers are being brought under your publisher spotlight as well. And Ellen, I know you also are a frequent presenter at Kidlit TV on
Yep.
books. And if you haven't ever watched that, they do a wonderful job. So at some point, I'll share the link later. And so, Ellen, feel free to go right ahead and start. Thank you.
Sharon, and thank you all so much for joining me today and just for all the things you do. This is not an easy time to be a librarian, and I just want you to know I appreciate that. And I just know that you're making a difference in young people's lives. But let's talk about some fun books, right? Let's have the book joy. Lean in on the book joy. So these are the publishers we're going to be talking about today. Do not worry, we're only going to be here about 45 minutes. It's not going to be 5 hours, which you might think from this slide that we're going to be, but no, it will be fast. That's who we're talking about. Let's start off with art and creativity. And I hope you all are excited about this year's theme. And yes, I know you've already got so many books for this year's theme, but here are a few more that you may have missed. And these are all available now. From Nosy Crow, this book will make you an artist. This is such an amazing book. It's already won some awards, but it's how to create your very own masterpieces inspired by 25 amazing artists. And it really teaches you how to be an artist. In fact, I frankly, as so often happens with nonfiction books for kids, I learn so much when I read these books myself. And this book is just absolutely gorgeous. It's Nosy Crow, so it's oversized. Well, not oversized, but it's a good size and it's beautifully done and has great book feel, but it helps you to dive into artists you may know and some you may not be familiar with. Like, how many of you know Barbara Hepworth? I did not know about Barbara Hepworth until a couple of years ago, and she's just an amazing sculptor. And Yayoi Kusama, this is somebody else I discovered that is just amazing. But yeah, so that's This Book Will Make You an Artist from Nosy Crow, a perfect book to get off. To start off your summer reading program. Next up, Cultured Donuts. Yes, those donuts are from this book. So this looks at the world of art through the lens of a pink iced donut. And what better way can you start? I just love this table of contents. I'm lobbying for a new award. You may have heard of the Endies and the Undies, the Endies for the end papers and the Undies for the case wraps. I think we should have talkies for the table of contents. And I think this would be a definite contender there. So you can see it's an introduction to lots of different kinds of art. And then, I mean, this melting donut looks pretty darn tasty to me, but you can also learn a lot about Dali while you're doing that. And then, of course, there's a great glossary with lots of great information in it. And that comes to us from Flower Pot Press, which is based in Nashville and in Toronto, Canada. So there you go. My Cup of Art. Now, this is a book, and I have a couple of these. This is a book that you would use, you would keep behind the counter, you would not circulate because it does have interactive elements. Like you can pull open this flap and it reveals Sheila's head. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I think I am. So it's got these various elements, and this one's almost too subtle because Mondrian, can you tell if the square has moved? Well, maybe, but that's kind of the point, isn't it? So it's very, very inventive, and it's looking at art through the lens of a cup of tea. So there you go. Isn't that interesting? That's from Albatross Books. And this is another one that you keep behind because it has interactive elements. And this is from a brand new publisher to the United States called Postwave Children's Books. And oh my gosh, these books are so gorgeous. This one has all sorts of interactive elements, things you can touch and feel and flip and just all the things. So it'd be an instant program to do this with. And it just helps kids understand and adults how art works and how art is created and the language of art, which I think is so hard to understand sometimes. So this won the prize for the best children's art book at the International Festival of Art and Film Books, and comes to us from Paris, France. So you know the French, they are very, very good at this, from the Pompidou Center. Cat's Colors. This is an older title, but I love this book. And you may even have had this book as a story walk. It's available as a free story walk from Child's Play. And this is a very, very simple introduction to cats. We have this lovely cat who has an idea and she wants to acquire different colors. And she goes around her area, her environment, and finds the different colors. And at the end, oh, look at her kittens. They're every single color in the rainbow. Very, very simple book, perfect for that story time for very young children. And speaking of Cat's Colors by Airlie Anderson, I mean, it's a great idea, right? And this cat is so darn cute. So let's do it in other formats. So we have it in Spanish and English, and it also is coming out in Haitian Creole. So you can see how it works in these various languages here. And that is a board book format for Cat's Colors and Las Colores from Child's Play. Now, this seems almost like it was made for this summer reading theme, doesn't it? But I can promise you it wasn't. This is coming to us from Walker Books Australia. I know you're looking at that bear and you're thinking, oh, that's Candlewick. Don't you know your publishers, Ellen? This is Candlewick. Well, yes and no. They have the same ownership, but you can tell it's Walker Books Australia from the very subtle Southern Cross constellation behind the bear. So if you're wondering, look for the stars. So this is just a lovely book about how color makes everything more interesting and vibrant and fun and exciting. And, it's just a beautiful, lovely, lovely story time book for very young children. And if you want a poster for this, let me know. Put it into can they chat, Sharon? Can people put something in the chat?
Yeah, they can put something in the chat, and if they really want, if they want, I can unmute them. But I can also
Yeah,
put your email in the chat so they can
yeah,
contact you.
that's fine. It's
Um,
Ellen at publisherspotlight.com, but we'll send you a poster. And it's really pretty. So thank you very much, Sharon. Frank's Red Hat. I love this book so much, and it's already gotten so many starred reviews. It's hilarious. So this is about a penguin who has an idea. Such a fun story time book. This is one of my favorite read alouds of the year. And he has these ideas, and sometimes they're good. And he has this really cute hat, and excuse me for coughing. And he asks a friend to try on the hat. And it's just a coincidence that the whale eats the friend who's wearing the hat immediately. The beluga whale just, the hat has nothing to do with it. And he makes all these amazing hats, and none of his penguin friends will wear them because they're scared. They're scared they're going to be eaten by a beluga. But it turns out that there is an audience for his hat. And I love how you can see all these different colors because it's not just blue, red, green, purple. It's fuchsia and amber and aquamarine. And yeah, you can learn the language of color. And at the end, he makes this amazing hat with all these colors, and he just gets so frustrated. And you see this poor little crying Frank. And it turns out the seals are all about the hats. So then he has another great idea. He's going to call it the scarf. So this won the Young Australians Best Book Award. And I think Sean Avery is off to a very, very nice career. So look for Frank's Red Hat. This is the Imaginary Alphabet from Pajama Press. I don't know about you, but during the pandemic, I pretty much spent all my time watching Midsummer Murders reruns. I mean, just, doing binge watching. Sylvia Dagnon did this amazingly detailed artwork where she basically took a letter and just did this beautiful fantasia on a theme of a letter. And there's so many things to explore in every page. And this is such a great art prompt, writing prompt. It can be a really good program. So this is the Imaginary Alphabet from Pajama Press, based in Canada. And it is by Sylvie Dagnon. So she is a Quebecoise author. So there you go. Next up, Watch Me Bloom from Lantana Press, which is based in the UK. And who doesn't love a good haiku, right? So this is a bouquet of haiku poems for budding naturalists. This art is mixed media. It's so gorgeous. And again, inspiration, right? For art and for writing. So unleash your inner creativity. And this is a great way. She also did a book on mindfulness, haiku with mindfulness. So you can check that out. And then at the end, you've got all this beautiful back matter. Sometimes when I'm doing presentations and if you've got a drink nearby, anytime I say the word back matter, take a swig. So there you go. That is Watch Me Bloom. And then If Flowers Were Little Monsters. This is a weird book. I'll just come right out there and say it. It's from Helvetique, which is a publisher based in Switzerland. One thing I love about Helvetique is that every book they create, they do with the intention of having it available in three languages. So in French, in German, and in English. And I don't know any other publisher who starts the process with that. But in this case, you learn about different flowers, and also it has this fantastical element where you think, now, if it was a little monster, what would it look like? If this was a camellia, yes, it is. How would you make it into a little monster? If there it is, that's your little monster camellia. If you were going to be a peony, which seems like such a harmless flower, right? It's so beautiful and big and blooming. How would you make that into a monster? Well, you might be a peonster, and that might be how you'd become a monster. So again, just so much fun, but also is packed with lots of really good information about the flowers too. So it's a mixture of fact and fantasy, and I think that's always a winning combination. This is my treehouse, comes to us from Florist Books in Scotland. And by the way, all the books I'm showing you are easy to get. I'm not going to show you something you can't get because that's mean, and I'm not a mean person. So this gorgeous book, which really invites you to climb up into this gorgeous treehouse and be there and let your imagination roam, is available to anybody. I mean, how beautiful is this? Don't you want to be there right now? I kind of want to be there right now. This is where I want to be. I want to be there right now. Again, I have this as a poster. If you would like this as a poster, just put it in the chat, Ellen at publisherspotlight.com, and I will send you this poster too. So there you go. This is my treehouse, and this is a from the graphic novel artist Alfred. You know they are really amazing when they only have one name. Just saying. Mononyms, that's the clue. Next up from Scallywag Press, based in the UK, we have Umbrella, which is a book from Guatemala. And this book won, I think, my very favorite named award I've ever heard of. It's called the Queen's Knickers Award, which is for the best read aloud in the UK. And it's just fun. This is about a little girl who finds this umbrella on a lonely day, and the umbrella talks to her, and all these amazing things come about. And then, of course, somebody comes along and ruins it. It isn't just a magical thing. He wants to make it, give him money and wealth. And so once he does that, it kind of ruins the magic, right? And the others get disappointed, but together they work together to bring the magic back, which is something we can all hope will happen when people get greedy, that they'll learn their lesson and then the magic will come back. I'm just going to leave that there. I'm not going to say anything else. So there you go. So that is the umbrella. And next up from Brazil and Tapioca Stories, which is based in Brooklyn. This is a story that comes to us from Brazil, as I said, and is a classic of Brazilian children's literature. The original book came out in the 1970s. This is a brand new translation and a brand new illustrator. So Anna Matsusaki is a Bologna an International Children's Book Festival award-winning artist, and I think her art is so interesting. And this is about a kid who makes up his own language. So, what is he says, I want to change a different name, and I want to make this word up to mean this thing. And so he creates this other language. Problem is, not everybody can really understand you when you're speaking in a language that nobody else has heard before. So you've got to figure out a way to communicate what it is by context. So it's very funny, very quirky. Again, it is a classic of Brazilian literature, and it's so exciting that it's now available in English. Coming to us from Tapioca Stories, who, by the way, always brings the fun, weird, quirky stories. And they love that little extra bit of book bling. So if you're looking for books that are a little something extra every single time, Tapioca Stories is a good place to start. Tiger Tales, just one more story. I mean, look at those bunnies. That stack of books. How cute is that? So what we have here are two bunnies, and one of them is really involved in their book, and the other one is wanting to play. And the other one's saying, I just need to finish this page. Can any of you relate to that? I don't know. I certainly can. So the other bunny is like, it's boring. I love the little free library here too. Isn't that fun? And kind of makes things annoying. And then the older bunny, who is really into the story, figures out a way to involve the younger bunny, and they make up their story together. And at the end of the day, it is a lovely thing. And they've both experienced the story, and they love their time with the book and with other books. And it's just a lovely way to get kids excited about reading. So there are those times when you may be dealing with several ages of kids in one story time. This might be just the perfect kind of book for that. Is a book a box for words? This comes to us from Red Comet Press, which is also based in Brooklyn, and by Harriet Ziefert, who I think may be the most prolific author ever. I know it's over 500 books that she's written. I've lost count. She probably has as well. And this is just a really fun book about how stories are constructed and how books are constructed. And I think that this could be a very fun jumping off point for creativity as well. And the illustrations are so much fun in this one. So that is a book, a box for words. And the illustrations are by the very, very talented Merce Gali. Anytime Merce Gali does a book, I'm all about it because I just love their illustrations so much. Okay, this is coming to us from Cuenta de Luz, which is a publisher based in Madrid, Spain. And everything they do is in both English and Spanish. And these books are made with stone paper. You just have to touch it to believe it. It feels so cool. But this is a book about a boy and his father. His father collects words that are not translatable into other languages. His language is Japanese, and he puts these words one at a time into this beautiful vase. And then every day he pulls one out, and it's a different word every day. And it's this thing that they treasure and they enjoy so much. Excuse me, hydration break. And then one day the vase breaks. Oh no, what's going to happen? So the boy confesses that it's broken and they put it back together. And what did they do to put it back together? They use kintsugi. Yeah. So that's what it means when it says the voice with the vase with the golden cracks. And I'm gonna mute myself for just a second. Please excuse my crud that I brought back from the London Book Fair. So it is a beautiful book. And what I love most about this is that the glossary, it's a Spanish publisher with a glossary of words in Japanese translated into English. Truly an international project and all about creativity and making something beautiful out of something that's broken. And also available in Spanish. So El Jarón de las Grietas Doradas. So very fun there. Who's writing the story? Good question, right? This is from Creston Books. I love Creston Books. This is a publishing house founded by Marissa Moss. You may know her from Amelia's Notebook. And this is just an exploration of how stories are created. And in this case, we have the true story that we have the three little pigs who are basically trying to rewrite the story. And the wolf gets into the act, and it's very, very fun. It has these graphic novel elements, but it's all about how stories are written in points of view. So if you're doing something with kids, teaching them how to tell stories, how to write stories, this is a wonderful way to start off. And then lastly, on the art and creativity, I included the Remarkables from Gecko Press just because it's such a cool book. This truly is oversized. This is Gigantics by Clotilde Perrin, who does all these amazing books. A lot of them have interactive elements. This one does not. This is one that you could circulate. And what she has done is that this is her table of contents. Again, my nominee for the talkies. And it has a child and then tells you all the things about that child. So as a writing prompt, as inspiration, as just something fun to explore. It is such a beautiful book. And again, great book feel. And I just, the cupcake child. What kind of child would you be? What a great question to ask at a program during the summer. And then to illustrate it using this as a guide for that. The slanted child, the rooted child, it can be anything, any kind of child. And then at the end, it's got this great little questionnaire. So, and you can reproduce it. I give you permission. So there you go. So that is the Remarkables, most incredible children I've met so far. Next up, next year is all about dinosaurs, paleontology, and archaeology. So many books about dinosaurs, right? So this is one that I just think is really a standout. Stones and Bones, Fossils and the Stories They Tell Us. So it's a good segue from this year with creativity and where you can actually talk about stories and how they're constructed to next year. Cicada Books does great nonfiction. It's a little publisher based in the UK. And here's their table of contents. So it kind of organizes the information. I feel like these illustrations are fantastic too. It talks about what a fossil is, and then it's got the fossil record, and you can see how it's all laid out here and then gives you more information about how fossils came to be and the different kinds of creatures you can discover in the fossil record. So much fun, and I just feel like this is a must-have for anybody who's studying this topic. And if you don't know Ziggy Hanawar, there's nothing she can't do. She did a book last year called The Egg Incident, which is incredibly hilarious. It's about Humpty Dumpty's nephew and his overprotective parents, and it is so funny. It's a graphic novel, easy reader. Check it out. But Stones and Bones, Fossils and the Stories They Tell is so much fun. This is a survey book. So sometimes you just need those books for those kids who just want the information. And it's from Albatross, who is based in Czechia. And you can see that it's got all this gorgeous illustrations, all this really solid information, beautifully, beautifully put together. And there's a place in the library for those and the kids who are interested in those. And not, I have more. Wait, there's more. Extinctopedia. So this is from Red Comet Press, and it's done in conjunction with the Smithsonian, so you know it's going to be good. And again, fantastic book feel. It's got the debossed lettering on it, and it's got the all the bling on it. Just such a beautiful book. Do we need wolves? Yes. And it talks about the how humans have impacted the environment, and also just other things have impacted how why some of these animals and birds and all these different creatures are no longer with us and why. And it's so beautifully done. And it isn't one of those books that makes you want to, you know, just get really depressed afterwards because it does leave some room for hope. I feel like we need to leave room for hope any place we can right now. And also look at this back matter, how detailed and useful it is. I just think it's great. So that's Extinctopedia. Next up, we got Evolution. Join us on an exhilarating journey from the origins of life to the present day, written by Sarah Darwin. Yes, Darwin's great granddaughter co-wrote this book with Eva Maria Sadowski. And I mean, that's pretty good credentials, right? So this is all about evolution and its role and how we can tell how it works and done for a 8 to 12-year-old audience. But frankly, I learned a whole lot from reading this book too. Beautifully, beautifully illustrated. This comes to us from What on Earth Books, and they're so good at nonfiction. They do the Factopia series. Oops, I got one of those coming later. They worked with Britannica to do the all new Kids Encyclopedia Britannica that came out. By the way, there's a new edition coming out next year. And just so many good stuff. Actually, later this year. This is 2025. It's going to be this year. So you can see how beautiful it is, lots of different points of entry, all the good stuff, packed full of information, gorgeous glossary index, all the things you want in good nonfiction. So from Nosy Crow, and they're very good at nonfiction too, everything you know about dinosaurs is wrong. So, I mean, maybe not. I don't know how informed you are on dinosaurs, but here's our table of contents. So, these are the things that are wrong. So, if these are things you thought, then I'm sorry, you are wrong. But let's see what that really means, right? So, we have an introduction with these gorgeous art, and then dinosaurs weren't very smart. Wrong. They were very, very smart. Yes, sometimes they had pea-sized brains, but they did good things with those pea-sized brains. So there you go. Tyrannosaurus could outrun you. Not. Maybe not. Maybe those little arms had something to do with that. I don't know. Anyway, lots of great information in this book. Um, it's dinosaur fans will become dinosaur experts, but I love the way you're kind of learning the information negatively, which is one of the few times I would say that's a good thing. But it's just so funny and hilarious, and I think everyone can enjoy it. Tiger Tales started their own imprint specifically to work with older kids, and they call it 360 degrees. So it's more information, and all those things they do with their novelty books for young children, they apply to the older kids here. So this is Deadly Dinosaurs. You can see all the different flaps here. Sorry, time for hydration. And you can see how things flip open, and there are all these little things that are revealed as you flip open the pages. So these are not easy to tear out, and they are actually very, very sturdy. So, excuse me. So yes, please be aware that this is a very, very sturdy book. How did dinosaurs get so gigantic? Do you know this series? The How Do series, there are about 30 books in it so far. They are so well done, so kid friendly. And excuse me for a second while. Sharon, we should have worked out some musical interludes so I could cough periodically. But as you can see, there is all these great illustrations that invite kids into the pages, and they ask the questions, and then they give the answer. And they're just done in this really creative format. Some of the other books in this series, by the way, How Does Data Become Drawings won the Mathical Award this past year. So this is a really good series, and it's available in paperback and hardcover. So there's that. This is not a dinosaur. If you actually, put into your title information system, this is not a dinosaur, you're going to come up with way more books than you ever would have thought. But excuse me. So here we have a dinosaur who is intruding. This is not a factual book about dinosaurs. This is a book where a dinosaur is rudely interrupting all the way through the book. And it's very, very fun for story time. So this is a very loose affiliation with your summer reading theme, but it is very, very fun. So it is not a dinosaur, it's a sinosaur or a very grand dinosaur. You get the idea. Very, very fun. So here's another one of those books. This is not a book about dinosaurs. This is really a book about squirrels, or is it? So the dinosaur really wants to take over the story about from the squirrel and does so, but it's just done in this really tongue-in-cheek, very funny way. And the relationship between the squirrels and the dinosaurs is hilarious. And it's one of those where it's for an older audience. So yes, it is snarky. This is from Helvetique, which is our Swiss publisher, and it is great fun to read aloud. I don't know why I thought Dig Dig Dinosaur would be perfect for this summer reading theme, but gosh, it seems to be perfect for this summer reading theme, doesn't it? This is from Nosy Crow, which means it's got a stories aloud element. Nosy Crow books almost always have a free audiobook you can listen to with a QR code on the back. And this is where kids are going to find out how to dig for dinosaurs. And it really is how to go on a dinosaur dig. So if you want to recreate that in your own library, then this is a great way to do it. And it also has all these interactive elements. So this is one that I think you could either have for circulation or have behind the counter, maybe one in each place. That might be the way to do it. So you can find out, you can look into how the different fossils work and how to extrapolate information about what that dinosaur might have looked like from that. So it's not what you thought, I bet, when you saw Dig Dig Dinosaur. You thought it was going to be just a really fun, simple little sweet book. And it is, but it also has a lot more to it because you have to dig deeper, to find all that great information. A terrific addition to the dinosaur shelf, says School Library Journal. A top choice for little dinosaur fans, says Sarah Hunter from Booklist. Thank you, Sarah. Dinos driving. Okay, this is just silly, but we need silly sometimes, right? So this takes all the kids who love vehicles of any kind and all the kids who love dinosaurs and mushes them together into this one really fun book. So what kind of thing would your favorite dinosaur drive? Well, this Diplodocus drives a bus, and Iguanodon drives, gosh, I don't know, I can't see because I moved the thing. It drives electric. It's an electric car, of course, of course. And then Triceratops rides a motorcycle. I mean, don't they look cool, right? I can totally see that happening. And then you got all this great information in the back. And fun thing about this book, available both as paperback and hardcover. So, I mean, not paperback, board book. I lied. Board book and hardcover. So you can have it in both formats. Great review here from Kirkus Reviews. And then we have Dinosaur says goodnight and other bedtime rhymes. So this is just a very sweet book that leans in on the dinosaur theme. And there are so many little dinosaur books from Tiger Tales. This is just one of them. If you're saying, yes, I think this seems vaguely familiar, there's a reason for that. And here's the reason for that. So many dinosaur books. So chances are you probably already have some of these in your library. And then from Child's Play, we have Five Enormous Dinosaurs. Now, this is a book that they've had for a little while from Annie Kubler and Sarah Dello. And the thing that's cool about this one is that they now have it in Spanish and English bilingual and Haitian Creole in English. So we've got two bilingual editions coming up as well, which is nice. One thing I really love about Child's Play is that they did this before it was cool, is they were really intentionally inclusive of kids with different kinds of abilities and just all the different ways to be inclusive. And you'll see a kid in a wheelchair. You'll see a kid who's got an eye patch. You'll see a kid with a hearing device. All is part of the community there, and normalizes that experience for kids, which is so important. But this is a really, really solid series. You probably know this series already, but Now, just know that there's a whole bunch more coming. The Haitian Creole one is coming in September. The others are available now. And I promised a little bit of archaeology. So, famous finds and finders searching for the past. This comes to us from Albatross. I mean, this is the coolest book. If you're into anything, if you're into this subject at all, isn't that a fantastic cover illustration? I just love it so much because sometimes you do have to go underwater to find where these things are because things have changed. Rivers have diverted. Things are flooded that were not before. Things are exposed that were not exposed before. And it goes into the science of archaeology, the things you can learn from it, the methods of archaeology, and then some of the big finds and the people who did those finds, the archaeologists, which is not a way we usually think about this. We just hear about King Tut. We don't learn about Howard Carter, which is fascinating story. I also love the fact that this is not just very just the same old things we always have heard, but in places that may not get covered in other books that they really are intentional about this and about that. So I don't know that I knew much about Knossos, which is the oldest European city. And I was a history major, which is kind of sad. Don't blame my degree on that. But anyway, Viking burial ships. It's so many cool things in here. 40 discoveries from around the world. And it's divided into five sections: people and animals, towns and cities, works of art under the sea, and then under the ground, hence the digging. Woo! There we got back to the theme, didn't we? And then lastly, we have how the seven wonders of the ancient world were built. And also, just so you know, there is a companion piece, which is the seven wonders of the modern world. And this goes into a little bit of archaeology because it talks about how the Hanging Gardens of Babylon would have been constructed. And this, of course, is a bit of having to be theoretical because we weren't there. No one took a video of how this was done, but they can piece it together from what they learned from archaeology. And it's fascinating information. Again, you can learn so much whether you're a kid or a grown up. And yeah, lots of great information about how these things were constructed given the technology of the time, which is really super fascinating. So yes, I did not know about the statue of Zeus at Olympia. And then you can learn how it was actually constructed. Amazing, just amazing. There's a pool of oil. What is that about? So much cool stuff. So that covers the Colossus of Rhodes, Giza, Lighthouse of Alexandria, Zeus, Temple of Artemis in Ephesus, Mausoleum at Halicarnassus, and the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. So that is all included in this really cool book from Albatross, which again does some fantastic, fantastic nonfiction books. And then lastly, I have for you, boy, I've talked really fast. I'm sorry, Sharon. We have History Factopia, Follow the Trail of 400 Facts. So I included this one because it does cover facts from around the world and throughout time. It will have some things that are archaeological and in content, but this is just frankly such a cool book in and of itself because you can create a Factopia wherever you are. And they are actually creating a kit so that a school or library can actually become a Factopia. And you can go around the library and have different facts highlighted. And if you would have an interest in getting that kit, when it's ready, please put your information into the chat, and then we will send that to you as soon as it's finished. So I know they're working on it now. I've been lobbying for this for years. I'm very excited about it. And you can see how it works. We have this actress, and she's performing. And then you go over here and you see that there's water puppetry and set sail, and then a whole different page. You can see all the different facts. If you were a kid, you just liked the Book of Lists when you were a kid, then this is exactly that kind of book, but much, much more beautifully illustrated than that book ever dreamed of being. And then you can see there's lots of pages where you can actually decide to go on different pages to follow the facts around the world. So this is a book. I love giving this Factopia series whenever I'm confronted with a kid who says he doesn't like to read or she doesn't like to read, and the books aren't interesting. And I hand them a Factopia book and I say, open up to any page. And I say, just tell me one thing from that page. And inevitably, as they're doing that, they see something else on that page which interests them. And then before you know it, they are just sitting down and they are flipping through that book, and the parent is mouthing "thank you" to me from the side of their mouth, trying to make sure that everybody knows. Thank you so much for letting me do this extremely quick tour through, I think, I don't know, about 40 books, something like that. If you have any interest in following us at Pub Spotlight, we're in Blue Sky, we're on YouTube, Kidlit TV. We did our Kidlit TV showcase. So if you go to Kidlit TV and look for Publisher Spotlight, you'll see me and Rocco talking about books for an hour and a half doing, I'll do story time. I did story time with Frank's Red Hat and doing an interview with Kirsten Cappy. And we just appreciate you so much and all the things that you do. And reach out anytime, Ellen at publisherspotlight.com. And good luck. And may your summer reading program be amazing and incredibly successful and extremely well funded.
Thank you so much, Ellen. You definitely went through all these books at breakneck speed, but you we learned a lot about a lot of them, and I can't wait to read so many of them, including the ones that aren't the brand new ones that I'm gonna look for them in my local library. I set this up as a webinar because I was not sure how many people would be attending, and so chat is disabled, but if anyone has a question, I can unmute you, or I see someone has Karen, you just made a note in the Q&A thanking you, Ellen. Um,
Sorry, I said
and
chat and I should have been saying Q&A. I
oh, no,
apologize.
no problem. So if anyone does have any questions, if you want to like indicate in the chat that you want to ask a question, I can unmute you.
Or
Uh,
just send me an email, Ellen at
yep,
Publisher Spotlight, if you want either of those posters or both of those posters. Or if you want the Factopia kit, just send me an email. And as soon as we have that ready, we'll be glad to send it to you. And yeah.
thank you. And I know I from working with Ellen, I know if she says she's going to send you a poster, she will. So yeah, her contact information would probably be quickest. Although if someone emails me or gets in touch with me, I can then get it from you, Ellen, and then get it to the person. Um,
So I just put, there's my contact information again, Ellen at Publisher Spotlight.com. So if you need
okay,
to send me an email, then there you go.
all
Hopefully that was
right.
enough time to see that again.
I think so. I did
And
put it in the chat too,
perfect.
and I will also share it with everyone when I send out an evaluation because I always have to do that too. Thank you so much, Ellen. We really appreciate this, and I look forward to reading all these great books and also knowing that there's more coming with all the independent presses that you work with. So if no one has any other questions, yeah, we'll end it now. Thank you again so much. Take care. I hope you're you feel better.
No, I'm getting there. Thank you so
Good,
much. I
good.
apologize for coughing. Please excuse the coughing.
No problem. Thank you, everybody. Take
Thanks.
care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Sharon.